Beloved Bhagwan, prayerfully seek thy permission to start this session and pray to Bhagwan to hold our hand and guide us in the right path, the Sai path. Respected Sudheer Bhaskar sir, dear Amey Deshpande, respected members of teaching fraternity, very loving Sai-Ram to all of you. Extremely happy and proud to introduce respected Professor Sudheer Bhaskar sir and young brother Amey Deshpande to all of you. Professor Sudheer Bhaskar sir took his MTech from IIT Madras, fellowship in management from IIM Bangalore, former director of Prashanthi campus of Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. Sir is having more than 30 years of teaching experience, author of more than 45 publications, and sir is the recipient of Outstanding Achievers Award and Certificate of Excellence in Teaching. Sir served Bhagwan as the former director of Radio Sai, which is a unit of Sathya Sai Center Trust. Currently, Sudheer Bhaskar sir is the director of Sri Sathya Sai Center for Human Values. The center, again that is under the Sathya Sai Center Trust, and Sathya Sai Center of Human Values conducts various training programs to different sections, professionals, including IAS trainees. We welcome you, sir, to this August gathering. Dr. Amey Deshpande, a passionate educationist, a member of Prashanthi Nilayam Bhajan Group. Amey took his MBA from Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. He is a faculty member of Sathya Sai Center of Human Values. He is a very ideal science student because he studied from primary class, Sathya Sai Primary School, Prashanthi Nilayam. And Swami is blessing Brother Amey to visit number of places inside the country and outside to spread divine messages. On behalf of all of you, and on behalf of Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, South Zone, we extend a most cordial, loving welcome to respected Professor Sudheer Bhaskar sir and dear Amey Deshpande. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Thank you, Professor Mukundan, for the long introduction, which is not necessary. On behalf of my colleague, Dr. Amey Deshpande, and myself, and on behalf of all of you, we'd like to offer ourselves at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan to guide us, guard us, and allow us to reach our destination by thy grace, which is thy divine lotus feet. I also would like to, we both will welcome educators from southern states to this particular program organized by Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, South Zone. Also welcoming the various educators and patrons of education to this particular program titled Insights to Educators. There are certain things which I thought we should understand, and that being, just listen to this particular I'm not very familiar with this technology. I'm just seeing how to play the. Like this. In this song, which is being played, part of it is the part of the first part of the song. This was 2004 when Dr. Abdul Kalam had come as the chief guest for the convocation. This was the concluding song in that particular convocation drama. If you carefully listen to this particular song, you would realize that when we are in front of the person who runs the three worlds, Tribhuvan Sanchalak, and what is the prayer we have, and what is the type of boon we are asking? We didn't ask for any, positions, money and all. What we have asked is, Swami, give us Vidya, the boon of Vidya. And that's the importance which is given to this particular term, which is very important. And let us dwell a little in this particular session on the term Vidya, what it stands for, what is our understanding based on the teachings of Bhagavan, and what is its implication for us as educators and patterns of education. So going forward, if you see, we are praying to give boon of Vidya. Bhagavan has, in a series of articles written for Sanatan Sarthi, which are published at the end of certain essays, into what is called as Vahini series. And one of the series which was written was on Vidya. And so happened that it was simultaneously when the University of Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning was being inaugurated. And in this particular, it's about a very small book, booklet. I'm quite sure if whoever is interested, if you just send a message to our Mr. Mukundan, he will definitely be able to have that particular book delivered to you. In that, there are so many things Swami has covered, but I would like to specify which is necessary for us as educators to be conscious of is this particular term called Vidya. And this is given in chapter number 8 in this particular booklet or this Vini. Vidya, the true knowledge, instructs you to reform yourself first. Vidya instructs you to reform yourself first. After transforming yourself, try to reform others. This is the advice offered by the term called Vidya in our literature, spiritual literature, whatever you call it, from time immemorial when we have been getting it. So you know the implications of this term now, that we have to transform ourselves first in what we want these students to be, who are going to be the outcome of their education in our institutions, whichever we are in charge or participating. And then only you will be able to see that not only what you say, but what you do also will be the learning for the students to get transformed. That motivates them, that inspires them to do that. And that's the meaning of Vidya. And what is that you're looking for transformation? Your nature is revealed by your acts, gestures, looks, speech, food habits, dress, and the manner in which you conduct yourself. In the same chapter, this continuation. That means what the people are going to observe in us is acts of gesture, acts, gestures, looks, speech, food habits, dress, and how we conduct ourselves in the public domain or the personal domain. And that's the difference. Therefore, you must pay attention to ensure that your speech, movements, thoughts, and behavior are correct and filled with love and nobility, and devoid of wildness and waywardness. Wildness and waywardness means here refers to not occasionally you think about these things. No, it has to be continuous, all times, every time, without let up. That means you must pay attention to your speech, how you talk, what you talk, your movements, how you move, your gestures, etc. Thoughts, which are there, your behavior, how you conduct yourself with individuals and in groups and with societies. All are correct and filled with love and nobility. And that's the difference it makes. So first and foremost, we need to transform ourselves. And the need for transformation also will come in a few slides later. Why this is so important for us, especially for the teachers and the administrators. You have to develop the humility to believe that you have much good to learn from others. If we as teachers do not have this particular belief system, that is something which others can also communicate to us, which is good, which we can learn and improve ourselves. And that humility is what is needed, because if you are not you don't have humility, you don't behave with the humility, you will not be able to grasp or capture or get that particular information from the others who are practicing and are trying to deliver. That's the importance which it has. Your enthusiasm, aspirations, resolutions, capacity to work, knowledge and wisdom have to be directed towards the welfare of all and not utilized solely for your selfish ends. Basically, what you're trying to communicate, Swami is trying to communicate through this particular paragraph is your enthusiasm, aspiration, resolution, capacity to work, and knowledge and wisdom In what direction are you going to use it? For what purpose are you going to use it? Is it only for me and myself and my family? Or for all others? Every person whom we come in contact with, whom we are responsible to, if we are having that type of a welfare towards all and not utilized for ourselves alone, is what is expected if you are called a person who has got transformed. That's the one. And also, you should be broad-minded and cultivate all-embracing love. Please understand, this love here means not the one which we see in movies or no serials. This is much nobler and higher, and possibly some of it we'll cover when we go along. Otherwise, maybe we can have a separate session only on what this particular term love stands for. Because this, if you look at the 5 human values which everybody talks about, prema, though roughly translated as love, is much more than just what love means. That prema is the one which is very important. And according to some scriptures and even in other religious texts, it says the highest value anybody can aspire and be able to reach is love. That's at the highest. Then comes other values and sub-values. Love is the uppermost, topmost. Here, the way we believe in the education system, as Amey enunciated, because all of you would have known, Professor Mukunda would have already talked to you, or others would have talked to you, that no, our first college started in 1968-69, and the first one being was in Anantapur, for ladies alone. You can just see the importance Amey gave almost about 8 decades back, the importance for women's education at that time. And on that occasion, the president's wife inaugurated this particular college. So it's so symbolic. You can just see the first lady in the country was inaugurating the first college of women. And that's the importance Amey had given. So here in our system of education, the way the whole thing has been condensed into and structured is education should be able to deliver certain things or achieve certain things, though not necessarily at the time of leaving the institution, but along the journey which one undertakes. And what are they? They are enlightenment, duty, devotion, understanding, character, action, thinking, integrity, oneness, and nobility. Professor Mukundan had introduced me as a professor. So one of the so-called things which professors don't let go in their delivery is ask questions. Is it possible for any educational institution, whether it's residential or non-residential, or whatever you may call it, for how many years you may have, be able to deliver on all these things? Almost each one of them is almost towards the terminal. You can say enlightenment is the end. Duty, devotion is the path. Understanding is on the way. Character is again the end. Actions on the way. Thinking, integrity is the end. Oneness, nobility. You can just see the whole lot of things have been compacted into an education system here. Do we touch upon all these things? Yes, we do touch upon all these things. Do we tell them the importance of all this? Yes, we do inform them what is the importance of it. Plus, we do something more and something more. And that's what I would like you to tell me, which is one of these particular 8 or 9 letters which are there in education. Which of them, if we concentrate from first standard to the end of your college or school's education system, till it goes through this formal education system, if people can concentrate on one of this, all others will fall into place on its own. Can you just think what it is? I'm sure you must be having some notebook or scribbling pad with you. Just note it down. When Prahalada was sent to for education by his father to the two gurus, they spent a lot of time teaching him. Okay, and we know the whole story. And towards the end, what it comes to is proudly the parents, the teachers bring the student to the father who was sitting in a court and said, "Sir, Lord, we have completed the education, we have taught him everything which one needs to know." And then the proud father, like all of us know, when a grandchild goes to school first time in a primary or in a second elementary, in primary, let's say in nursery or no upper or lower or no, it goes to first standard. When some of friends and relatives come, which is my grandson is studying, and you ask the student, the boy, "Hey, what did you learn in school?" And he says something, and all of us are very happy that no, he's learned. So in the same demonstration mode, father also asked the son in front of all the courtiers, "Can you tell something what these teachers have taught you?" And we know what that particular poem is, how he says that no, teachers have taught me X, Y, Z, ABC, everything. But he also says, apart from all these things, I learned one essential thing, which is the essence of all education. Marmam nerchitini, in Telugu, Swami says that marmam is essence. I'm able to grasp the essence of all the education by knowing that everything else can be known. In that context, is there one term on which we stress all of us unitedly for every class after class, every day after day, and week after week, class after class, batch after batch? If you're able to concentrate, it actually delivers ability for the student to go through and acquire all of them. And that is nothing else than thinking. If you're able to have this ability built and demonstrated to the child right from beginning of his education till the formal education is complete, every time, every faculty or every person who comes in contact with him or he or she comes in contact with, and be able to deliver this, that makes a huge, huge, huge difference. Having said this, let us go. I would like to mention here how Swami had classified teachers. And when I joined in 1988, after a couple of weeks, Swami asked me this question. By then, I've not read any of Swami's discourses or not got much exposed in that particular area, except having darshan many times and so on and so forth. Swami asked me, "What type of teacher are you?" What type of teacher means? I thought, no, maybe I'm Swami, I'm a management teacher, teaching MBA students. No, but what type are you? I couldn't understand. I just put a blank face. And then Swami said, "Are you an explaining teacher, complaining teacher, or inspiring teacher?" Just listen to Swami.
ఈ అధ్యాపకులలో 3 రకములైనటువంటి అధ్యాపకులు ఉంటున్నారు. నిరంతరం కూడా విద్యార్థుల పైనను లేక మిగతా అధ్యాపకుల పైనను ఇంకే విధమైనటువంటి సమస్యల పైనను నిరంతరము కంప్లైంట్. ఈ కంప్లైంట్ చేసేటువంటి యొక్క అధ్యాపకుడు అతి లో క్లాస్ చేరినటువంటి వాడు. తద్వారా విద్యార్థి యొక్క ఉత్సాహం అనేటువంటిది అడుగంటిపోతుంది. ఇది బ్యాడ్ పర్సన్ అని. ఇంకా రెండవ అధ్యాపకుడు ఎట్లాంటి వాడు అంటే ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తూ వస్తుంటాడు. ప్రతి విషయాన్ని కూడా చాలా వివరంగా వివరించి అనేక విధంగా ఈ విద్యార్థులను బోధిస్తుంటాడు. తద్వారా విద్యార్థికి కొంతవరకును బలం ఏర్పడి తాను ముందుకు పోవడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తాడు. 3వ తరగతికి చెందినటువంటి యొక్క అధ్యాపకుడు
బలం ఏర్పడి తాను ముందుకు పోవడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తాడు. మూడవ తరగతికి చెందినటువంటి యొక్క అధ్యాపకుడు ఇన్స్పైర్ గా చెప్తాడు. ఈ విధమైనటువంటి ఇన్స్పైర్ అనేటువంటి వాళ్ళ వల్ల విద్యార్థి ఎత్తివాడైనా కూడా ఉన్నత స్థాయికి చేరడానికి ఉరుముతలుగుతాడు. మీరు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసే టీచర్స్ అయినా కాదు, లేక ఇన్స్పైర్ చేసేటువంటి టీచర్స్ అయినా కాదు, కానీ కంప్లైంట్ చేసే టీచర్స్ మాత్రం కారాదు. ఇన్స్పైర్ చేసేటువంటి టీచర్స్ గా మనం తయారైనప్పుడు ఎలాంటి నిరుత్సాహంతో గురైనటువంటి విద్యార్థినైనా కూడా ఉత్సాహంతో ఉన్నత స్థాయిలో విజయాన్ని సాధించేటువంటి యొక్క వీరుడిగా మనం తయారు చేయొచ్చు. కనుక మొట్టమొదటి విద్యార్థికి ఈ విజయం పైన తీవ్రమైన బలమైన ఆకాంక్షను కలిగించేటువంటి వారిగా తయారు కావాలి.
Swami is mentioning the three types: complaining teachers, as very well explained. Explaining teachers spend a lot of time giving references, cross-references, and drawing examples from many other books and personal experiences of on those concepts. And third one is the inspiring one. And the way Swami tells is a person, a student who doesn't have much of a goal or ambition or aspiration to reach higher levels, even those students, apart from those students who are already excited and enthusiastic to go up, even these students, an inspiring teacher can definitely inspire him through his way of communication and the way of his behavior. He will be able to inspire him to go on that particular path and reach that levels. And that's what is more important. So Swami also says, be either an inspiring teacher or an explaining teacher, but not be a complaining teacher. Let me give the example. If we are talking about somebody who is going to be these three categories, just look at this video, and it's very symbolic. There's no voice in it. Just be very attentive. You can just make out what we are trying to complain these three teachers are. You can make out from this particular, there are three stages of the flower blooming. The first one is like a complaining teacher. Because of the enthusiasm of the teacher, the students himself, he reaches certain levels of blossoming of his personality, etc. Explaining teachers increases that one to the next level. Whereas inspiring teacher takes you to the full bloom. And that's what we are all of us are looking for. What our education system and our institutions should be able to provide to the students, and that's what will be able to be appreciated by his parents, and a lot more recognition come to that education institution. Again, this comes from the teachers and possibly the encouragement the administrators provide to the teachers. So that's a critical role which you are really looking at. An inspiring teacher, what does he do? Prepares all students to become enthusiastic and capable of reaching highest stature. Capable of reaching highest stature. And inspire intense and strong aspiration for being victorious. That means be able to achieve the goals which are noble in nature to be achieved by individuals. Teacher can be compared to water tank. Let's see, I'll just show this. We are familiar with this particular system, isn't it? Students are like the taps, Swami says, and teachers are like the tank. And a school or education system is the link between the teacher and the student. Swami also gives the example. What type of water comes out of this particular tap? The water which comes out is what is present and possibly what is getting value added all along the path. That means the pipeline also could contribute to the type of water which comes out. So if you have got clean water and clean distribution system, and water which comes out is going to be clean, and vice versa. When students take the wrong path, he ruins himself. Whereas if a teacher takes to the wrong ways, he will be ruining the lives of hundreds of students. There's a very famous quote. I think most of the teachers, when they go through their own education system, or now when they go for teacher training programs and all, would have got this particular statement being mentioned many a times. So there are 2 points. The tank must be clean. The water coming into the tank also must be clean, isn't it? How do you ensure the tank is clean and the water which comes into the tank also is clean? Because these two are important, but in the distribution system, assuming the pipeline, the education system, which whether it could be a CBSE system or state boards or based on NEP or whatever you may call it, they have been designed to deliver clean. So there's not a problem in that system if you're following them. Whereas what comes in and what comes out are related to each other. Let us look at some of these points. Cleaning the tank. That means, we have to keep our tank very clean. That is through discipline, sincerity, simplicity, and mutual cooperation, and Seva power. Drill master's duty is best discharged through discipline. Discipline for teachers cannot be limited to punctuality and adherence to the timetable. Duty of them involves intensive preparation, discovering how best to instruct and how to inspire the people under their care. This is what our inspiring teacher does. Possibly last, but removing the last part of it, it is what explaining teacher does most often than not. Intense preparation and discovering how best to instruct. But inspiring the people, and that's the difference. Of course, simplicity, sincerity, mutual cooperation, these are all part of your behavioral system, which you have seen, which is very important, because through this only the student looks at a teacher, and for a student, the teacher is the hero in the classroom. The classroom, who is the hero? The teacher is the hero. And if he wants to look at the teacher and get inspired, saying that, no, I also want to be like that. In whichever field I am going to be, I must have a recognition. I must get this type of accolades. This is the type of thing everybody should be talking about me as a good person. If you want that, it is very essential for us to look at these things. Inputs are also pure. That means water which comes in also should be pure. What are they? Sadgunam, that is virtues, purified intellect, integrity, devotion, discipline, fulfilling duty. These are the things which are very important, which makes the water which is coming into this tank. We talked about how the tank can be purified. The water which comes into the tank should be like this. The people who come in should have virtuous. Purified intellect, that means no nefarious or concocted way of dealing with things. Integrity, of course, we know. Devotion, we know. Bhakti here means bhakti not necessarily to God alone. Bhakti to your discipline, your job, your delivery system, how committed you are, how much you want to spend your time to fulfill that aspirations of the system which is hiring you as a teacher. And that's the one which is important. Discipline, there's conversation of, Kartavya Palana is fulfilling duty. There are, like you said, Swami said in that one, it's not just come to class, college, school in time or college in time and then go to attend the classes in time and then complete the syllabus on time and come out. No, there's much more than that. Do you observe your students? Why sometimes they're very attentive, why sometimes they're not attentive? Sometimes they perform very well in your tests and sometimes they don't. Do you try to find out why? What is the reason? Is it there something which is lacking in you in the sense that you're not able to communicate that particular portion of syllabus properly, or something else is distracting him from doing the things so properly and well? So if you start thinking about those lines, not saying that you should go to their house and do all the things, no. Just being sympathetic to him itself is enough to show care and concern to him, encouraging him. And that makes all the particular difference in fulfilling your duty. Sorry, the spelling mistake. Any questions, please? I think I have crossed my time, which has been given to me. So I'll just leave it to you to ask me questions for the rest of the time.
Yes, Rajula Vinod.
Rajula, Vinod, and Bhaskar. Both of you have raised your hands. So can you just one by one ask questions? Is there a moderator for this session, please? Mr. Mukundan?
No, sir, no moderator. And all teachers are requested, if there is any query, please come forward.
Yeah. You unmute yourself, please, and also put on a video if necessary so that we know who's speaking. Mrs. Rajula, Vinod?
Sarah, madam, please unmute yourself.
In the meantime, Bhaskar, Bopanna. Mr. Bhaskar, I think you also will have to unmute yourself. Audio and unmute. Can somebody help him, please?
Those who would like to ask question, please unmute your mic.
Anybody else?
I think admin has to admit person.
Yes, ma'am. Gagana Kumari.
Saram, sir. Sir,
Yes, continue, ma'am. Continue, ma'am.
sir, I'm a high school teacher. How can I make the students to ask questions? They are listening and responding, but they didn't try to ask any doubts or questions. How can I make them to ask questions, sir?
Very good question. I think very important question for teachers also is this. How do you make the students to come out and ask questions openly? I'm quite sure there are a lot of teachers here. I think there are about how many? About 100 odd teachers who are here. I'm quite sure each one of them will be able to explain, give their own answers or help you how they have been able to do. One of the methods is to encourage is to be during your lecture itself or your talk itself or subsequently before or afterwards, if you can be friendly with the child, because always there's a barrier between the teacher and the student, because sometimes our reputation comes into the classroom much ahead of us. But if our seniors would have told us that no, this teacher is very good, you can ask questions and no, they'll be able to help you. They won't get angry with us. They won't say it's a stupid question asking, is this the way to ask? When they tell this to the juniors, when they come to your classroom, they feel more encouraged to talk. That's one. Second one is, you can embed by rephrasing the thing in a way that as if you are asking a question, and you want the child to answer the question and embed the answer in the question itself, so that the boy feels that encourage that, yeah, I can also answer questions. I also have to know the answers. If you're able to achieve that particular part, the next step would be that you ask them to ask questions to you, because in your delivery itself, you can leave something vague enough for him to ask questions, saying that, no, this point is not clear for me. This is how we should be able to build rapport between the teacher and the student. Once that rapport is built, the game is over. We have achieved. We can inspire the student. I'm quite sure anybody else would like to help Madam how to overcome, because she said she's from primary school. I don't have much experience at that level. Anybody else would help? Amey, would you like to mention something? How you as a student felt?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm secondary school teacher, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Your answer may be useful for me. Thank you, sir.
Amey,
Sairam, sir.
could you just elaborate how it happens with us here?
Definitely, it's a most wonderful question, and I think sir has covered the broad areas in which you could definitely, as he mentioned, first is very, very important to build a rapport with the class. So one can do that, especially at a higher secondary school level. I believe 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th class, students are extremely smart. They are, they are very, very well, knowledgeable in terms of what is the current affairs. These days students are on their phones. They have got such exposure to what is happening around the world. And so therefore, the other idea that comes to mind is whatever we are trying to teach in the class, try to make its connection to what is happening, in the world. For example, if you are teaching mathematics, especially the concepts of mathematics, how do they actually, connect to certain engineering problems or to certain other kind of problems? If it is science, there's direct connection to what is happening in the world around us in terms of technology or in terms of what are the scientific developments. More importantly, one of the ways that some of the best teachers that we have had here in our institute, and Bhagavan himself is Swami himself is the greatest teacher, right? Whenever he would come out and he would speak to us, typically in the evenings or what we would refer to as the veranda sessions, he will come and usually he will always ask a leading question, right? It will as if Swami himself doesn't know the answer and he is asking us the question. In fact, sir mentioned that. In fact, the entire conversations between Bhagwan and his students is captured in what is called Satyopanishad, a book compiled by Dr. Anil Kumar Kamaraju Garu. Right? These are all the conversations that Swami would have with all the staff members. And it will typically start with Adi Chusyava, Idi Vinyava. Swami will come and say, have you heard this? Have you read this? You know what happened the other day? So Swami will ask a leading question, and that is what will trigger a lot of thoughts. So it is very important that a teacher, before he or she enters into the class, if they can start, if they can start the class, probably bringing up a particular event that has happened. In fact, Bhagwan was once mentioning even to the teachers in the institute, whenever you start a class, whatever class it may be, start by telling one of my stories or talking about human value. You can start with a question. You can start with, a particular story with a Chinna Katha, or you can start with Bhagwan's story itself, right? So Swami would say we had one of our teachers. He is a hardcore chemistry professor, and he teaches at master's level. So you can imagine chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry at the master's level. It's all very, very technical. But every class that he comes in, he will start with a story of Swami, Of course, I understand that many of you will not be able to necessarily, tell Swami stories, but can we raise certain questions through some Chinnakathas or through some analogies, right? I think that is something that we can do, and that is what will trigger questions and interactions from students. So just to summarize what we said, first thing is, try to ask some questions yourself. Second, tell some stories. Through the stories you can tell some human values. You can bring up some current affairs which are things going on, and practical application of whatever we are learning in the classroom, how it is connected to whatever is happening around us. So these are some of the techniques, madam.
Bhaskar, Mr. Bhaskar,
There's, I think, one more, madam, Harshini Rai.
Nilayam.
Yes, sir.
Harshini Rai, madam, if you can unmute
Yeah.
yourself and ask questions.
Sai Ram, sir. Sai Ram to both of you. Sir, my
Sai Ram.
question to you is, if there is a student in your class who is repeatedly committing a mistake, which you have told them it's wrong, and they're repeating it again and again, in spite of being nice to them, telling them nicely, how do we correct them, sir?
Sir, I would just like to start off with a beautiful incident which precisely explains this. I'm sure many of you would have heard it from the author itself. This is actually Mrs. Geeta Mohan Ram's incident, and it's a very beautiful incident. And so it may not have necessarily all the techniques, but it does point out to one thing. So it so happened that, as you all know, Bhagwan had sent both of them to the United States for further job, her husband's job. And so very, very reluctantly, she went away from Swami. They had been relocated in Washington, in the United States. And auntie, Geeta auntie, she started teaching in one of the primary schools over there. Now it so happened that, of course, I think she was teaching in the higher primary. Now it so happened in one particular year, all the primary school, lower primary school teachers from a particular class would come back to the staff room, and they would talk about one student who was absolutely incorrigible. His behavior was so bad that they would keep discussing about this boy, that they would come back, oh my God, what a headache, what a terrible fellow, he beats up other children, he back answers the teachers, absolutely terrible behavior. Auntie used to teach in class 6. So they were all discussing about, this class 5, class 4, class 3 teachers would discuss about this. On several years, this boy had become a very notorious boy. She used to in fact tell them, hey, simply you're making big deal out of, after all, a third year, third standard, fourth standard boy, how terrible can he be? You don't know how to deal with him. That is how she was telling. And they would in fact tell her, Miss Geeta, you just wait, let him come to your class, then we will see what you have to say. Eventually, one year came when this boy went to this auntie's class. And she says that the very first day she entered into the class, this fellow was, having he had picked up one of the chairs in the classroom, and he was going to bash another child with this chair. You can imagine what a sight it would have been. And so she immediately went, she pacified him, and he back answered her. Okay. And so the saga started. Every day she would go into the class and this boy would misbehave. So much so that every other parent started complaining, right? His parents, in fact, his father came to the school and, he just kind of, he confessed saying, look, I am not able to deal with this fellow at home. That is why I'm sending him to school. Now, if you rusticate him from the school, where am I supposed to go? So there was it was like a devil in the deep sea. It is that kind of a situation. And this auntie tried her level best to explain. She would wait after school hours. She would talk to him. And this boy, absolutely no change in him. Few months passed and every day became an ordeal. So much so that Geeta auntie says she would go back home with a headache and she would tell her husband, about this boy. complain about this boy. And uncle was, don't bring all your school things at home. So there was not much, she says, there was not much support even from the home side. And so one day, what she did? She says, I went in front of the altar. She went in front of Bhagwan's altar in her house, and she said, Swami, you are responsible, for whatever is happening, because you are my guru. Okay, you did not teach me properly. That is why I am not able to teach that child properly. And so she put a challenge to Swami. Swami, you do something. Otherwise, within 1 month, I am going to resign. Because now all other teachers, started coming and telling, now what happened, Miss Geeta? Now you are having so many problems, that kind of taunting. So it seems she just cried. She just prayed to Bhagwan. Okay. And she went the next day. Nothing had changed. It seems the one thing about this child was, though he was such a violent, vile child, she said, in fact, just before this, she says, it so happened that the moment the feeling of, kind of negative feeling that she had towards that child was so high, it seems that every time she would look at him, only negative thoughts would come into her mind. She was not able to entertain any positive thoughts. Right? So then she prayed. She goes the next day. It seems one thing about this child was every day he would dress up very nicely and come. When he comes to the school, he will be dressed up very nicely. Of course, by the end of the day, everything will be out. Some shirt would have torn or something like that. So that day, this child, it seems, one fine morning, this child walks up to Miss Geeta and he says, Miss Geeta, how do I look today? And you see, auntie, she was telling that when she used to look at this fellow only, all negative thoughts used to come. So, she said one thing to him. She just said one thing. She said, it is not enough to look handsome from outside. You should look handsome from inside. Okay, she just said that much. And it seems that statement, it made this boy, suddenly that boy's expression changed. And he just said, so ma'am, am I not handsome from inside? She said, no, you're not handsome from inside, because children who are handsome from inside will never trouble other children and will never trouble anybody else. That's all she said. Okay, nothing spectacular. It seems that entire day, there was no activity from this boy. In the sense, no negative activity. Another day passed, no complaints. Third day passed and fourth day passed and a few days passed. Okay, and there was absolutely no complaints from anybody. Right? That one statement by auntie had transformed this child's life. This boy, in fact, auntie goes on to say that a time came where this boy, if two other children were fighting, he would go and stop that fight saying, Miss Geeta said that if you fight, then you will not be handsome from inside. And it is important to be handsome from inside and not from outside. You see, Swami says, wherein there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in character. It was this beauty in character that she was trying to point out. This child had understood it. So eventually, of course, this boy's entire life changed. It seems by the time he came to higher secondary school, auntie says that this boy ended up becoming the head boy of the school. Okay. Of course, he passed out of the school and he would still write letters to auntie saying what a big impact she had made. A few years later, when auntie had come to Prashanthi Nilayam and Swami had called them for an interview, Swami, it seems he as the interview is going on, suddenly, very randomly, he just says, yetla undi adi rowdy yetla unne. Okay, how is that rowdy? Swami asks. And she is wondering, Swami, rowdy? What rowdy? Then Swami says, don't you remember one night you cried in front of me saying that, Swami, you are my guru. I have failed as a guru, and that failure actually comes on to you because you are my guru and I am that child's guru. Okay, Swami recollected the entire prayer that auntie had made in front of Swami. And Swami said, you may be a bad student, but I am a very good teacher. Okay. And who do you think inspired you to speak those words? And that is when auntie realized that, in fact, What she told the next day was not from her, it was from Swami himself. So the point that I want to make out of this particular story is two things. One is, if there is a student who is just not transforming, don't worry so much. Leave it to Bhagavan. Make a sincere prayer to Swami. Swami, you are my teacher, right? I am trying my best. See, we don't know what is the soul's journey that particular soul has taken to come to that particular point of time. And so we don't know when that soul is meant to transform. Sometimes a word from us may transform he or she at that moment, or it may transform many, many years later, right? So two things. One is prayer, sincere prayer to Swami. Need not be only when a child does not behave. Every single day, Swami, you are the thinker of my thoughts. You are the doer of my deeds. You are the speaker of my words, right? You please come and you become the teacher through me. If we are able to pray like this, Bhagwan will inspire us to tell the correct thing at the correct time in the correct way to the child. That is what I would like to say.
One more, one more thing is simpler things. Okay, I mean, there's a beautiful way Amey put it. How Swami actually is trying to communicate to us that what is his role also, our Guru's role also. Suppose in a same student, in the whole day when you are having, you observe something slightly better. Recognize that particular one. Hey, you've done very well. This is nice. This is the way it should be. Just start recognizing that particular small change which he has improved. And the moment you see telling him that, you can just see the pride in him and how the other students are looking at him to look at that particular behavior of his. In the same way, if you continue looking at for good in each person, because there's always a goodness, somewhere or other it sprouts itself, because goodness is there inherent in every individual. It is a system which has made him bad rather than he is born bad. So in that context, no, he will start realizing that, no, oh, I think, because everybody wants shabashi on the back. You want, I want, everybody wants. How does even children want it? And they want it to be recognized that they are doing something good. Like, for example, what Swami had given, Nitaraman had mentioned about the student coming dressed nicely. Just look at the other way around. Suppose she would have seen him and acknowledged, hey, you dress beautifully, very nice, you look so handsome, but are you inside also? Makes a big difference. That means he sees that, no, look, she's able to observe something in me, which is good. And can I translate that goodness in me into other aspects of my life and other aspects of my behavior? So this is the way we should look at ways we can try to acknowledge and inspire him to do better. So these are some of the things which you can try it out, please. Of course, I think all of you teachers, somewhere or other, you have conventions and meetings and get-togethers. There you can share these type of experience, how they have been able to handle or tackle.
Yes. So just to add to that, few things that we follow here in our school. One is, when we are reprimanding children, never reprimand them in front of others, because it creates a much deeper hurt. When if we have to shout at them or reprimand them or scold them, bring them privately and talk to them first. For some students, sometimes reprimanding in front of others works, but always start here. While if you want to praise them in front of others.
Everybody.
In front of everybody. Sometimes that also can behave, that can also kind of go the other way. Yeah. Because then they may say, see, the teacher has praised me. Who are you? And so there will always be these things. That is why I always feel that let Swami decide what is the best way. We don't know, we cannot always say, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because every child is different. So these were some of the, of course, we can keep going on and on with these ideas.
Thank you so much.
Madam Sindhu Jayesh.
Sairam, sir.
Sairam.
Sir, I'm a kindergarten teacher. So we try to nurture kids with a lot of moral values, but we are not getting a support or follow up from the parent side. So they're least interested about it. So what can be done to make them also help us in that?
Yes, madam. One thing is that one thing you should know, is a teacher's job is the most thankless job, right? Especially I feel primary school and kindergarten teachers, because don't remember one thing, that never allow yourself to be, to lose your inspiration. Okay. The work that you are doing, it may not bear fruits immediately. Okay. But there is nothing that, if whatever is done from the bottom of our hearts and as an offering to Swami, it will bear fruits. This is Swami's assurance directly. Not a single noble thought or noble word will go unanswered by the divine himself. So yes, at times we will feel very diffident. We will feel, completely hopeless that after doing all this, still parents do not, or parents or students do not understand its importance. Number one, continue. Number two, try to make parents as, as co-teachers, bring them into the education system itself. For example, I can give you another thing that Swami would say, now you just imagine we were all hostel boys, right? We would always stay with Swami, in the sense 10 months, 11 months, we would be here only. But when Swami speaks in front of our parents, he will ask the parents, so Cheppu, yetla undi mi abbai. He will say, tell me, how is your son? Okay, and many times the parents would say, Swami, you know better than us, because divinely, definitely Swami knows better. Even physically, he is more over here than in, than in our hometown, right? So you see, Swami would make the parents on his side. He will ask them, tell me, how is your son, right? What difference do you see in him after he goes back home? Many times Swami would ask this question from the parents. At home also, is he behaving like this? Right? So these are ways by which, instead of making, see, many times, parents become our customers, right? They are saying, I'm sending my child to you, so they become our customers, and we are like suppliers. We supply education to customers called parents and students. However, can we bring them as co-owners, right, into the education system by telling them, and therefore parenting process is as important as bringing up the child. So therefore, in many Sathya Sai schools, in many schools, parenting is a very important cell. So from time to time, calling the parents, trying to make them understand what we are trying to do in the school, so that when the child goes back home, all the things are not undone, right? Bhagwan himself used to say, 11 months I struggle with, giving you value education. 1 month you all go home and you forget whatever, you do. Because parents will say, Ayo Papam, my child has come. No need to get up for Omkaram. No need to get up for Suprabhatam. No need to do bhajans, right? Over here, you are doing bhajans every day. At home, do you do bhajans? So we have to take the parents along with us. I feel it would be worthwhile for you to spend enough time with the parents also, right? From time to time, maybe, in a semester once, or maybe 6 monthly once, call and tell the parents. It's important to also tell that, different schools have got very good report cards. For example, we would do, over here, we take a lot of importance in our report cards. We not only report their assignment marks, but we report on various things like whether the child is able to live with others, how is his, interaction with others, how is his interaction with elders, how is his interaction with juniors, right? So we try to do like a 360-degree analysis. It takes time, but when we provide this particular report to the parents, we are letting them know that, see, we are training the child in all these methods, So I think that would be something that, of course, takes some time, but it would be worthwhile doing it. These are some of my thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. The thing is very simple. Once they become co-partners, that means whatever effort you are doing should be reinforced by them. Whatever they are trying to do, you should also reinforce in your classrooms. If you have that type of understanding between parents and teachers, and I remember what I came to know is that very frequently there are teacher-parents meets are taking place in schools. I think even a CBSE as well as another regulatory organization are insisting, and reports should be sent to them also, that what has happened in these particular meetings. any corrective action is taken place and things like that. So it's very essential that both of them are co-partners in this education system. And then what happens is each one will find that they have a stake in it and they feel better about it. Any other questions? I think some more questions. Bhaskar had raised his hand. I have not seen him ask questions.
I think he's not able to unmute, sir, so it's okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, it's already 8:35. So
I have,
technically,
Amey,
yes, sir.
I see that Mr. Vijay Krishna from Trichy is online with us in this program.
Okay, sir.
Vijay? Vijay Krishna. The Vice President of Tamil Nadu South.
Okay, sir. Do you have any message for him or?
No. I thought, see, he can also give one or two illustration about how he finds this.
Right, sir.
Because
He's not there.
Yeah.
He may not be there online.
Anybody else? Other than Mr. Mukundan?
Sir.
From our side, we are through.
Any teacher, because this is a great opportunity. We won't be getting them always and frequently. This is a great opportunity provided by our beloved Bhagavan. So please ask question not only for you, because that will help the other teachers also. And we'll be sharing the video tomorrow so that all the questions and answers, all the teachers will be, looking for. So please don't waste time, as Swami says. Please come with your questions. Saidam, thank you.
Kasturi Padmaja, madam.
Sairam sir,
Yeah.
Padmaja. I was fortunate. I studied in Sathya Sai Institute and I teach in Usmania University now. I teach MBA students, sir. And it's a battle for me every day because most of the students come only for employment. And we can't talk to them about human values. Very subtly, I hold on to Swami and try my best, but it's a battle. So how can I help them a little more?
Madam, you said you're teaching management students. Isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah,
So I think right. I think there is nothing more. I would say more
appropriate.
Exactly, more relevant than to bring up values, because especially in management, every situation that we come across is a value, will always have a value element to that situation. For example, you can always look, you can do financial analysis, we can do marketing analysis, we can do customer analysis, but there is also something called a value analysis that has to be done. And I'm sure you will agree with me that ultimately the boss or the person who has to take a decision, one of the most important factors for he or she to take a decision is their own value systems. Along with data on one side, data will be telling you one thing, right? So it is a combination of data and value systems which actually go to take a particular decision. Yes. Right? So we can always look at the value dimension whenever we are taking up any case studies or so I'm sure that unless you're teaching a very technical subject like linear programming, or operations management, even in operations management, we can always bring in the human resource aspect to it.
I teach human resource management, sir.
Oh, so human resource management is full of human values. One cannot.
The point is, first semester, they have 4 semesters here. First semester, the entire strength is there in class. By the time they reach 3rd semester, the only thing they want is, ma'am, we want attendance and we want a job.
Right.
We have to plan so much to tell them that if they are right, if they work hard and upgrade themselves, they'll get the job, or they'll, it's the process.
Yes, ma'am. It is always, I'm sure it is always a difficult task. If all students, including students over here, including when we were students also, that those were our thoughts. However, what I think is case studies is one method by which you can make them think. See, one thing that we, especially in India, at management level, one thing that we lack is.
Can I have some observation?
Yes, Mr. Gangappa, you want to make some observation?
No, I think it was just by
Okay, right. One thing that we lack in especially in Indian management, in B schools over here, is the concept of making it practical for them. That is to tell the MBA students, especially MBA or any technical subjects, like engineering, medicine, MBA, law, is that in a few semesters, time, there is no use of attendance, there is no use of marks, there is no use of copying or doing this. You will be sitting in front of a interview panel, okay, who will look through your eyes and your minds within 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's very important that they may ask for attendance. Okay, so what if you get 100% attendance? Are you prepared? So many times with such kind of students, we have to become interviewers. If they were going to walk into an interview room, what kind of questions is the boss going to ask of them? Imagine tomorrow, and this is what happens, isn't it? These young students, they go and join a software company or a multinational company, and then there they start asking the same thing. Sir, please give us attendance. How many times have we come across situations where the bosses come back and tell us, your students are not mature. They think that this is also a college. So therefore, we must take this opportunity to become employers even before they go into employment.
Right.
So you can use that to teach them values even now. That would be my thought.
Yes.
One more way of approach would be, apart from what Amey said, this we follow in our place here. Whatever you're going to teach, suppose you're going to do ratio analysis, say today, and the fellow wants to go to a marketing or production job. So first thing he's going to look at, how is this useful to me? Because I've been from one of the best management colleges here. But the thing is, the way it is communicated is how relevant it is going to be to you to do a good job and be prosperous. How does it make you to grow in your organization, the profession which you want to be, in which section you want to be, and how is this information going to be useful to you? Can you communicate to him that? And that is through case study could be. Give a small illustration, one small situation analysis. Tell him you are doing this particular job, you're a production line, and you come to know that there's a problem with the raw material. And that's the one that is affecting your quality of your output, and then you're getting bad name. How does this help you? What are the parameters you look at? What are the analysis you will do to say where to pinpoint? Because your system of production is perfect. If the raw material which is coming is going to be a problem, obviously like tank and tap, you're not going to get it. So what is that you're going to communicate and explain to a finance manager who takes the decision based on whatever we call cost analysis? So if you are able to bring in the reality to him, then he says, yes, I may be doing production job and IT job, but the thing is, this is going to help me do my job better at some level. Can we think about that? Make him realize, because an organization consists of all working together. Like, if you look at a watch, mechanical watch, how many wheels are there? So many wheels are there. If all of them are not synchronizingly moving, would it show correct time? In the same way, every aspect of your functioning in the organization has to be synchronized. So do you know what the synchronization of other departments are? So that you know whether you are going to be in tune or you have to tune them to your requirement. So this is what is the thing which is necessary. Believe me, this will help the individual who joins an organization to go up in the organization, because these type of analysis, these type of things which you sit in a meeting and talk will be recognized by the management and take you to the top. Yeah, as you go up, you no more stick to your function. You have to cross-discipline. Cross-functional you have to be. Your idea should be accepted by others, other departments, other sections. Similarly, whether you want to accept their suggestions, how it is going to impact. Can you make this analysis? This is what has to be done realistically. I mean, in some colleges, they do it depending on the ability of the teacher, how much he is able to prepare, and bring in the current situation. Like Amey said, no. What happened last week? In Hindustan Unilever, this thing happened. So what was the problem? Suddenly, or you say the share market now went down, and they have found that they are not able to meet the targets. What happened? Is it because of your product, or somebody else is making move somewhere? Can you make this analysis? Then they'll see that the relevance of talking about other sections also. So when he's sitting, obviously, you ask him, he wants to be a marketing job, all marketing classes he will attend. All marketing classes he will attend, but other classes he will not attend. Same with the other cases. So you just observe this, and this is what. And HR, ma'am, I'm telling you, is the last of the importance which is given in the entire priority of both in the institutions as well as by the students. Unless you want to be an HR professional.
Right, sir. There is another question.
And you know the situation how it is in Usmania University, because I've been from Usmania University way back in my engineering college days. Yeah, Amey?
There is another question asked by Mr. Satyendra Kumar. I am
Yeah.
a secondary school teacher. One of my students takes interest in stock market along with his father.
Yeah.
Is it good for him? How to show him in a good way? So I think it's a relevant question if you can very quickly answer. Once again, try to show them the importance of values, number one. So money is important, but more important than money is how the money is earned and how the money is spent. If you are able to, introduce to them concepts of, righteousness in how to earn money and how to spend the money. The reason, because a lot of people get into stock markets thinking that it is like a gambling game. They're trying to make a quick buck. Nobody ever makes money that way in the stock market, or for that matter, any money which is made like that is short term, it is short lived. So I think it's important to expose them. Of course, maybe that child is not very mature in terms of understanding that at this point of time. However, it would be beneficial to explain to them that money is not everything. What is success? It's very important that teachers keep on talking about the true meaning of success, the true meaning of progress. I think very shortly we can say it in that way. What is success and what is progress? Another question has come from Ms. Prachi Bismaya Patro. I am a mother of 4-year-old kid, and
How will I teach?
I think, how will I keep EHV in him? The simplest way is through stories, songs, right? Keep on telling them stories. Remember one thing, all of these values that we teach, they are like seeds, right? Once they are put in the heart of the child, when it will grow, that is left to so many other factors, right? It could be karma, it could be kripa, it could be so many concepts or factors which can we don't know how they are going to blossom. However, our job is to continuously keep doing our job of telling them stories. A 4-year-old child, the best way is through songs, through stories, right? Is what I would say. Any other thoughts, sir, you would like to add?
That's good. I think the next question is more also interesting. I think it's a continuation of what we are discussing. I'm a student. I'm not getting interest of listening to a particular class. Should I skip that class? What is right? What is the right thing to do?
Right. So one thing we have to tell students is that this concept Swami would always talk to us about, you will not always get what you like to do. Better to like whatever you get to do, right? So we have to somehow, that is in many ways, tell the student that, look, in life, it will not always happen that you will always get the best teacher, the most interesting class, the most interest. There are so many people who are not interested in their jobs, right? I'm sure many of us teachers, teaching was not our first profession, right? We kind of stumbled upon it. I would say very, very, a small percentage of people actually take up teaching as a full-time profession, right? Most of us, we come to this a point after because we are not able to do anything else, or, whatever. I mean, positive, negatives kept aside. The point is, can we tell them this concept of liking whatever you are doing? So as Swami says, no, this is a very beautiful point. The number of times, please do contemplate on this. He says, study to be steady. Swami would often say, study to be steady. The purpose of studying is not necessarily concentration, collection of facts, but concentration of mind. Right? So the study to be steady, and education is not just collection of facts, but concentration of mind. This is if we are able to tell the students, look, or not all classes are going to be interesting, whichever classes he takes for the rest of his life. Even if he joins the top Ivy League colleges in the world, okay, not every class is going to be interesting. Yet, what we are doing through the process of education is what Bhagwan is telling us, is concentration of the mind. How can I improve my concentration? How to become steady? So tell the child, even if you are not interested, please sit. Don't skip the class, because skipping class today will lead to skipping something else tomorrow. Right? Today you're skipping the class and you're saying, you know what, I got away with it, or I can let go. What all will, imagine if a child, if it is trained, or if he thinks he can get away with it, imagine what all they will get away later on. Tomorrow they will skip laws. Day after tomorrow they'll skip ethics. And the worst of all, they will skip morality and spirituality. And that is the downfall of the child. Right? It is, as Bhagwan would often tell this Chinnakatha, there was a small child who would often, lift when the mothers would carry and go to the shopping, to the bazaar. And in the bazaar, the child would simply take one tomato and keep it inside. Okay. And every time, the child did that, the mother told, oh, very cute, very nice. And the child began to, feel that, oh, that's the correct thing to do. That's a smart thing to do. Eventually, the boy ends up becoming a thief. And many, many years later, when he is caught, and he is undergoing trial, when the judge asks him, is there anybody whom, you want to save? He said, please bring my mother. And when his mother is brought in front of him, he says, I am what I am because what she did to me. When as a little child, when I used to steal, a potato and a tomato and an onion in the bazaar, she never told me it is not right. Of course, this is, take it as only as an, Chinnakatha. What Swami is trying to tell us is that we have to tell them that there will be some difficult things to be done at that age, right? So that character gets implemented or becomes stronger. So there are many, many questions which are coming now. I'm not sure how long we can go. I think Mukundan sir and the other organizers, please tell us.
Sairam sir and Amey, as long as the teachers ask questions, there is no limit. No, we can go, continue, because this is a great opportunity for them.
Now,
Okay.
Mukundan, I just want to ask one question.
Yes, sir.
The next round, we are going to address that educators will be same batch or somebody else is going to come?
Same batch, sir.
So we'll have a lot of interactions possible also subsequently then.
Sure, sir.
So I think, let's have some times, because
All the teachers can, one suggestion is there, because you are all members of WhatsApp group. All the questions, please share in the WhatsApp group. So that will be shared with Sir and Brother Amey. So that the answer they are giving also will be shared in the WhatsApp groups. That also is possible.
Right. I think that's a wonderful idea, sir. Thank you so much for that. I think we will end this session today. Thank you so much for your wonderful interaction. There has been a lot of interaction on the chat box as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your very kind questions and your kind, patient listening. We pray to Bhagwan that he is the teacher, ultimate teacher who teaches through each and every one of us. I wish you all a wonderful birthday celebrations. Our dear Bhagwan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba's birthday, to those of you who don't know, is coming up on the 23rd of November. So we wish you all a very beautiful, divine, uplifting birthday season.
Sairam to all. Thank
Sairam
you.
to all. We give it over to the organizers to complete in whichever way that they usually do. Sairam.
Sairam, sir. Sir, Professor Mukundan, sir, please unmute yourself, please. Sir Mukundan, sir.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, I lost my connectivity in between within 1 minute. We don't know how to thank our beloved Bhagwan for this, or who made everything possible like this. And we have got great gratitude, deepest gratitude, Sudheer Bhaskar sir and Amey Deshpande, for providing this information for all the members of the teaching fraternity. And we thank Sudheer Bhaskar sir and Amey Deshpande for being with us for so much time, for answering the question as well as for presenting the points. And we also thank all the members, respected members of teaching fraternity who have joined today. So 2 requests. Number 1, all the questions, please share in the WhatsApp group. They will be answering these questions. And secondly, we'll be sharing the video, most probably by tomorrow, so that that can be shared by with all of you, and you can share with your friends and other members of the teaching fraternity. We take this opportunity to thank you all for attending this session. And once again, we pray to our beloved Bhagwan to be with us in this journey to him. Sai Teja, Shanti Mantra.
Yes, silence. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.